Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long day, a long 2 days, I think, for you. And it's really great. It's a really great privilege for me to be here and to be in the part about next steps. Can you imagine that one day after adopting this agenda, everybody is talking about how to implement it, and everybody is really seriously looking at themselves also in terms of what has to be done. So, from my perspective, what are the next steps? I think the first thing is we need to realize what just happened to us. Something really great just happened to us. We had a real paradigm shift. I mean, everybody uses that word, but I think this time it's really appropriate. We moved from a conception of development that was very much a north-south kind of concept. Basically, the Millennium Development Goals developed by some experts, they were good. They told us how important it is to set goals and targets, even in difficult times. But they didn't manage to address the issues of inequality, the issues of inequality of access to basic services, the mainstreaming of human rights. They were basically a deal between donors and recipients. Now, by virtue of a process that was probably one of the most inclusive in terms of the United Nations processes, we have a shared vision of humanity. And I would like to start by thanking you all for how you participated and how you helped to push the doors open of the UN and help the international community to find its emotional intelligence, to find its common values and what unites it. Now, when I say that civil society pushed open the doors of the UN, all my colleagues said, "Oh, you can't say that. The doors were already open. They were already open, but you did push." And I think that member states listened, and that's why we have this high degree of ambition and this comprehensive agenda, this interlinked agenda. So what does this mean for us now? Sustainable Development Goal, this shared vision of humanity, what is the implication for the way forward? I've had many discussions with people, strategic planners and people from different agencies saying, okay, now we have to decide which goals is ours, which target are we gonna control? No. That's not what it is. We have to understand the message that is there, the subtle message that underpins this new vision of humanity is, firstly, we need to strengthen the relationship between the leaders and the people. We have to strengthen the relationship between duty bearers and rights holders. We have to make sure that service providers, governments, know how to respond to the needs of people, and that the people know how to demand, know how to request, know how to understand how the services are being provided. That is the first strategic operational consequence of this new agenda. The second one that is just as important and in a way is nearly the other side of a balance is who is left behind. Asking ourselves who is left behind. Because there is a very strong commitment here that in these next 15 years, we will start by reaching the furthest first. We are committed to leaving no one behind. What does that mean operationally? What does that mean for our strategies? It means that we have to start by identifying the most vulnerable. It means that we have to start by understanding why they are vulnerable and by thinking with them how to mitigate these vulnerabilities. Those are the two, in my mind, the two most immediate operational consequences of this agenda. Strengthening the relationship between duty bearers and rights holders and making sure that we really leave no one behind. The MDGs was about reducing poverty by half. We could choose which half, and we chose the easier half. Huh? Now we have to start by identifying the most vulnerable first. So we need to realize that this is also about how everyone gets involved now. And my job within the UN will be very much to look at the review process of the SDGs. Now I know there are discussions about the goals, whether they are too reductive or whether the way to communicate them is too reductive, or whether people are not understanding that we have a complex set of goals and targets. My opinion on this is we have to probably use both of these strategies. We need to make sure that everyone understands that there was a really, really important deal that was struck here last weekend. And that this goal, that this deal encompassed all the most important issues of life and of this planet and of economy, and that there are 17 goals. But then we also need to make sure that people realize that this is a new social contract between the governments and the people. And whoever speaks about a contract, you better read the small script. Huh? And the small script here are the 169 targets. So let's delve into that. Let's speak within countries, within our organizations. Let's look at those 169 targets and let's see where our contribution can be, what our value added can be for any of those. And not forgetting, of course, that these two fundamental principles that I mentioned just now. Some people regret that in this whole process, there wasn't more work on the definition of poverty and of extreme poverty. And yes, I think it would have been really interesting had we been able to have targets that are more multidimensional about poverty. But let's remember that the first time in history we have 169 elements to help us define how not to leave anyone behind. Thank you very much.